the time is now 3:36. So I'm going to start the meeting now, and Councilor Tim Allen and or Councilor Katie Walsh going to be joining us soon, so that we can take a vote to move this forward to the City Council. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Making sure that we are recording. All right, let's get started, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Springfield City Councilor Victor Davila, and this is the subcommittee meeting of the General Government Subcommittee. Today is April 31st at 3:37, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Excuse me. Sorry, my apologies. Today, we're going to be discussing the reappointment of 3 members of the Water and Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. And those are going to be Ms. Vanessa Otero. Ms. Otero, thank you for joining us. We also have Mr. Dan Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, thank you for joining us. And then we have Mr. Matthew Donnellan. Matthew, I saw you on the line before. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Thank you for joining us, Matthew. And then we are also joined by the Commissioner Director, Mr. Josh. Sorry, this is Schimmel.
Schimmel.
I keep saying Schimmel for reason. Schimmel. All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we are waiting for the other members of the committee to join. The mayor has nominated these 3 outstanding individuals in the community to be reappointed. How long is Josh? How long is the term for?
Terms are for 3 years, and they need to be staggered. So I believe the appointments are going to have to. Commissioner Otero expires this coming June 30th, so she would be reappointed with an expiration date of June 30th, 2028. Commissioner Rodriguez expired in 2023. So he would have to be retroactively reappointed to either 2023 expiring in 2026 or reappointed now but expiring in 2026. And then Commissioner Donnellan expired in June of 2020, was appointed in June of 2024, and he would be expiring in June of 2027.
Okay, let me just recap that for the benefit of the public at home. So you're saying that Ms. Vanessa Otero is going to be expiring from now to June 30th, 2028?
Yes.
We have Mr. Matthew Donnellan, who's going to be expiring from now to 2027.
Well, his last term expiration was June 30th of 2024.
Yeah.
So he has not been reappointed yet.
Okay.
And same with Commissioner Rodriguez. So this may be something just to bring up with Gladys, exactly how they want to do it. What I do know is that the expiration dates have to be expired. So 1 expiration date per year per commissioner.
Right. So Judge, bear with me. I'm going to give the floor to the commissioners in a second. But so you're saying that Matthew Donnellan expired June 30th, 2024.
Correct.
And if we had to retro, or you suggested retro appointed him from 2024 to 2027.
Correct.
Okay, and then Mr. Rodriguez expired 2023. And so he has to be reappointed going back to 2023.
And I think you'd have to talk that over with counsel for with attorney counsel, general counsel for city council or for the solicitor to make sure that they can appoint going back. If they appoint going forward, then they can figure the dates out of those reappointments. But essentially, you have to have a commission seat expiring. Commissioner Otero expires this June. then you would need to have a different commissioner expiring in June of next year, and then a different commissioner in June of the following year, and then Commissioner Otero's would then expire in 2028, 3-year terms.
So I thank you for bringing that up, Josh. I was not aware of that. Unfortunately, I don't have the solicitor here to ask him his opinion, but I will reach out to him. I think Councilor Allen's here, so I'm going to be asking you in a second, Josh, to just restate us for the benefit of Councilor Allen. Good afternoon, Councilor.
Sure. Let me, Counselor, can I just, can I mute myself out for 1 second, and then I'll be right back, and I may have our general counsel here, so I just want to see if I can grab him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Josh. I'm going to call a quick recess for 2 minutes, okay? So the time is now 3:42. Calling a quick recess, and we rejoin shortly. Thank you.
Piece of paper. I'm good, Counselor, whenever you guys are.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, we're back. The time is now 3:44. We're back from a quick recess. Now we're being joined by Councilor Allen. Councilor Allen, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So Josh, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to restate what you just told us for the benefit of Councilor Allen, please.
Sure. It's just that the terms for each of the board members of the Water and Sewer Commission need to expire 1 per year, so they all need to be staggered in their expiration dates. And Commissioner Otero is due to expire this coming June and would need to be reappointed for a 3-year term. And then going back for Commissioner Rodriguez and Commissioner Donnellan, we would like the appointments to be retrospective to when they expired last. And therefore their expiration dates would be next year and the year after, and then Commissioner Otero would be 3 years from now.
Yeah,
So,
Josh,
and I can get the details to Gladys on those appointment dates. So she'll know exactly what year their previous appointments expired.
right. So Josh, Commissioner Rodriguez will be up to when? 2026?
Let me just grab, I just handed that off. Let me just grab that.
I got it.
Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
Commissioner Rodriguez would be retrospectively reappointed on July 1 of 2024.
Yeah,
Commissioner Rodriguez expired June 30th, 2023. So I'm sorry, he would be reappointed July 1 of 2023, which would be expiring in 2026.
yeah,
Commissioner Donnellan would be reappointed July 1 of 2024.
Mhm.
retrospectively, and then expiring in June of 2027, June 30th of 2027.
I understood. Well, Josh, I guess the work goes pretty fast around here. I can see that we're being joined by the city clerk. Gladys, are you?
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Well, we hear you fine. Thank you for joining us. I am impressed how quickly we got results here. So thank you for joining us. We also joined, I believe, is that Councilor Whitfield? Yeah,
I
I
don't know where
think
you're looking at.
it says coalition equitable economy. I think that's Councilor
Oh,
Whitfield. So
That's usually, yeah, that's
that's
true.
usually her. Yeah. Okay, so I believe Councilor Whitfield is joining us. She has not identified herself, so we're going to go back to her. But before turning it over to the commissioners, Josh, I have to ask you the obvious question.
It is me, sorry. Sorry about that. I've been on
No.
my work Zoom, so sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you for joining us, Councilor Whitfield. So Josh, I have to ask you the obvious question. What happened with these appointments that they were not appointed accordingly?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Counselor. You know, I can't really speak. It's generally those appointments are done through the city. But I do believe that without a reappointment, it's not as if the appointment expires. They just continue administratively. So I think it's important for us to have the reappointments. At this point, you know, it has an effect on our bond ratings, et cetera. So it's important to have those and the expirations at this point in time. But administratively, I'm not sure if if they're not reappointed, that means we're without a commissioner.
No, actually, and I was just trying to quickly find it. It does.
Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Rodriguez, sir, I'm sorry, have the floor, sir. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I will give you your chance in a second, Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay, sorry.
I hear what you're saying. I will be honest with you. I'm a little disturbed with this information. You say something that we may not be with a commission that's yet to be determined, but you know, I just found this out. I had no clue about this until you just told us. And so I'm a little disturbed with this information. Gladys, would you like to comment, please, on what Judge has said?
I don't want to take the words out of Mr. Rodriguez's mouth, but with most boards and commissions, the members will continue to serve unless they're otherwise taken off or and someone else is appointed. They continue to serve until another person is appointed. So even if their expiration date comes and goes, it doesn't negate their authority or their ability to take a vote in their respective board or commission. I'm currently working, that aside, I'm currently working with Daisy Lorenzana to put together a list of all the boards and commissions, the expiration date. So even if the members on any given board continue to serve, that they are duly sworn in and reappointed through this body, and even the ones that don't have to come before the city council.
Right, Madam Clerk, you kind of preempted on my next question, which was going to be any vote that they took, are they enforced, are they valid? It appears to me the answer is yes, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so Madam Clerk, Josh, again, I'm not happy about this. I'm disturbed. I'm not going to, you know, I asked what happened. It seems like you guys don't know. I don't know, so it seems like you guys don't know. But moving forward, I'll encourage everybody. I think this makes us look bad, honestly, personally. You know, I just don't want to set a practice that we're going to keep going back with boards and commission to retroactively appoint somebody. So I know you're going to be doing your due diligence, Madam Clerk. I trust you're going to do an excellent work. And Josh, to be honest with you, we got to do better. I'm disturbed with this. I really am. Actually, I'm annoyed, to be honest with you.
Understood.
Councilor Allen, do you have any questions on this particular issue?
Oh, well, hi, everybody. Glad to be with you. I guess my main question would be, if you took votes, and I think you just said this, but I just want to ask it again. If votes were taken after somebody's term had expired, were the votes still valid?
Yes, they are, because the term is expired on paper, but the person will continue to serve until either they themselves are reappointed or another member is reappointed in their stead. If that makes,
So if we rectify this in the way Josh mentioned before or whatever, that we can, if we decide to do that, we can go forward from there.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Allen. So why don't we start then, I'm sorry, Commissioner Rodriguez, did you wanna chime in?
I did,
Oh, sorry, Councilor Whitfield, followed by
oh.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we are just bringing these contracts current, because one was all the way to 2023. I'm just trying to figure out why it was missed.
That's a good question, Councilor Whitfield. Is it the appointments that they're looking? I can either, and Josh, tell me if I'm right, we can either retroactively reappoint them, or we can appoint them from now to the expired term. And each term for each commissioner has to be staggered. So we have one up in 26, one up in 27, and one up in 28.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have two options. Like I said, we can either go back, reappoint them from that day to whenever they expire, or we can reappoint them from now to whenever the term expires. But either way, according to what the clerk just told us and Josh, that whatever action they took, it's valid.
Okay, like whatever votes, I heard that part.
That's
I'm
correct.
just, the only time that we usually like backdate stuff is if something was going through, like they were working with HR on, what is it called?
Retroactively.
Yeah, labor
I would-
contracts or
Oh,
something.
contract, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time that I can recall going backwards on anything. So I was just trying to figure out why this happened, but I'm in support of it either way because they've been doing the work, but just trying to figure it out. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Excuse me, if Mr. Rodriguez, were you trying to say something before, sir?
But yeah, but the clerk covered it basically that the enabling charter for water and sewer, chapter 40N talks about the appointment process and how commissioners stay. You know, there's supposed to be a rotating term, so you renew a new commissioner each year. And if that doesn't happen, that the existing commissioners stay on until replaced.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Okay, all right, so.
going retroactive may or may not be important. It's going forward and getting that sequence going is what's important.
Understood. Madam Clerk, were you trying to chime in?
Yes, to basically second what Councilor Whitfield said, typically it's usually the labor contracts that are retroactive. We do not have to. The body can do what it wants. So you, Councilor Davila, can choose to do this retroactively. Their votes are still valid, so we can do it from today or from the next meeting going forward. And as long as the staggered rotation continues and you specify the dates. So you don't have to call it retroactive to the date they should have been reappointed.
I think what I'm gonna do is what I want to do is I want to hear each one separately. Judge, as they come up, I want you to restate their date of expiration. And then whatever I do, I need to speak with the solicitor first to make sure that we do a due diligence. I have no reason to doubt what Josh has said or you, Madam Clerk, but I need to dot my i's and cross my t's. All right, so if you allow me, I would like to be a gentleman, please, ladies first, and Commissioner Otero, like always, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, George, tell me about her, Commissioner Otero's expiration date, so just to be clear. So June 30th, 2028?
No, her expiration date is June 30th of 2025.
2025, okay. All right, and so that will be effective too? I mean, excuse me, from now, from when the chick is appointed?
Yeah, that would be a 3-year term to June 30th of 2028. And Counselor, if I may make a suggestion,
Yeah.
is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you can reappoint all of them come this July 1, and just with a term that expires with Commissioner Otero's in 2028, Commissioner Rodriguez in 2026, and Commissioner Donnellan in 2027, and achieve the same the same thing as retroactively going back. As everybody has said, the fact that they weren't reappointed, they're still administratively continued as commissioners. So all of the work that's been done is all valid. And then rather, if people aren't comfortable going with a retrospective appointment, I think that's fine. It's just your new appointments all starting July 1 of 2025. You just have to put an expiration date. And I can certainly send those to Gladys and to you all, what those dates would be so that they're staggered.
yeah, please, if you could do that, please.
Okay.
Okay, so Commissioner Otero, so Judge, correct me, because there's too many days flying back and forth here. So she's gonna be July 1st, 2025 to 2028, correct?
Yeah, to June 30th of 2028.
June 3rd, okay. Commissioner Otero, the floor is yours. Tell us about who you are, how long you've been in the commission, and this is for a 3-year term, reappointment. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here. I think this is probably my 3rd or 4th time coming in front of this committee and City Council. I think it's a privilege to serve in this manner. Civic engagement is important to me, and my commitment to the Water and Sewer Commission and the people we serve is, it's still the same. It's just as strong as it was when I started. We've done some really, really great work. Our staff, our administration, and our frontline staff have dedicated time and effort to really strengthening the commission, not just fiscally, but also in terms of workforce development. We have some wonderful projects with the Springfield Public Schools for internships, and it's actually called the Pipeline Project, and it's doing wonderfully. I think fiscally we've never been more sound. That doesn't mean that things aren't expensive, and we have to continue to be diligent about our budget every year. But I think we've put the commissioners and my fellow commissioners and I have put this organization in collaboration with the staff in really good standing, considering our bond rating and what we've managed to accomplish in the last couple of years. And I'm grateful to serve, and I would be grateful to continue to serve.
Thank you, Commissioner Otero. Thank you for your due diligence. We know we always do your due diligence, and we thank you for that. Very well. So next coming up, I'm sorry, Councilor Allen, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Vanessa, for your service and for wanting to keep going. I'm just wondering, your comments on, you said the budget is in great shape. That's great. I can't dispute that. I don't know. But how is the budget being handled now from a standpoint of the operational budget that always existed and the project budget for the rebuilding of the plant?
So interestingly enough, we have a meeting next week to start the budget process. The staff has already started it, and so all of you will hear about all of the details that you hear every year. When I say the budget is in great shape, it means that our capital projects budget and our operations budget is steady, and we have put in some mechanisms to ensure that we're doing the work that we have to do. Does that mean that there won't be rate increases? No. Things continue to cost more, and the amount of capital projects that we have is extraordinary. So what I'm saying is that we have some pretty dynamic stewards at the commission that are making sure that we are fiscally sound and that we're moving in the direction we need to move to ensure that our operations continue and that the issues that we have, that we're working on them and that we are ensuring that our water continues to be the best water we can serve to our constituents.
Okay, regarding rate increases, and I don't know if I should save these questions for after you all go or what, but let me ask this one. And at some point, we always get a lot of grief from our constituents about rate increases, water and sewer rate increases, complicated by the fact of the HAA5, et cetera. So at one point, I thought there was something that was written that said you can expect, I could be totally wrong on this, but some kind of memo was said, so you can kind of expect 6% rate increases or something as a standard thing for a few years out. Is that true, or did I say that right, or?
Yeah, so we have projections for about a decade out to sort of help to try get folks to understand how these rate increases happen. And then COVID hit, and then the supply chain issues hit, and now tariffs are hitting. And so we've got these real life things that affect everything that we do. And so this year, we'll be coming back to you with our projections moving forward based on all of the things that I've said to you and more, right? So can I tell you what the rate increase is going to be? No. We are working on, the staff is working on that now, and they'll present it to us first before we send it on to the mayor and the city council. But this is this is a dance. Every year we have to think about what it's going to cost to continue our capital improvement projects that cannot be halted. Our water treatment plant is underway, or at least the upgrades to it are underway. And so these are all things that need to move forward. And I think, and what I meant to say was that our staff, our administration is doing a great job of balancing all of our needs as it's going to be explained in our budget.
Okay, so that's all good. Was there something written once that said you can expect a certain percentage?
Like a
Yeah,
schedule.
it's a diagram that we provided folks that showed what the increases would be, would potentially look like moving forward. Yes. Yes, you are correct. That did exist. It still does.
And is that like 6% base or something?
Josh, do you remember what the,
I know it's gonna change, but
I don't remember.
I don't have it in front of me, Commissioner, but I think over the next 4 years, we've been predicting between 6.5% and 8.5%, with 1 year where it's going to be higher. But that's going back last year and the year before. But we have a pretty accurate 3-year look ahead. We go out to 20 plus years, but that's, not realistic. So year to year, for the next handful of years, you're in that 6.5% to 8.5%, based on the information we have now. But there's a lot of challenges, as Commissioner Otero said, and we deal with that as part of the process each year.
okay, I know there's a lot of challenges. I've been alongside you guys for a few years, working a little closer to most counselors with the water and sewer. So I appreciate the challenges. I know they're hard. So that's the extent of my questions for now.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Councilor Allen. Thank you. I do have some questions, some sort of generic question for all 3 commissioners, but I will be doing those in a second. Thank you, Commissioner Otero. Next, I'm going to bring up Mr. Matthew Donnellan. Now, Josh, Matthew is gonna go explain, tell me again the date for him.
Let's reappoint him on June 30th of 2025 with an expiration of June, rather reappoint him on July 1 of 2025, as we're gonna do for all of them, with an expiration of June 30th, 2027.
Very well. Mr. Donovan, sir, thank you for being here. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Counselor. Like Commissioner Otero, I'm also grateful to serve. I was actually appointed to fill out the term of Commissioner Bill Leonard after he resigned at the end of June in 2024. And I'm a retiree of the city of Springfield, 40-year employee. The last 14 were spent as the HR director at Water and Sewer Commission.
Okay. So you are Springfield grown and you have deep roots in Springfield, right?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Anything else you want to share with us?
My educational background, I have a bachelor's in business administration from University of Massachusetts Amherst and an MBA from Western New England College. And I'm also a grandfather of two.
Good, beautiful. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much. Councilor Allen, any questions for Matthew?
Hi, Matt. Good to see you. I was gonna say, it didn't seem like you had served a 3-year term. And I guess you didn't. It was a 1 year since you filled in for Bill Leonard, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half, I think. Yep.
Okay. Well, you worked as an employee there, and you're now you're now one of the commissioners. Any insights by changing hats, kind of thing? It's a challenging time. I know with the all the questions I've already asked a little bit, and then the project and stuff. Does the organization seem positioned for success on all this, or have you seen the organization at you were involved in hiring people, if you were HR director, and a lot of specialized skill sets and that? Do you have any comments on all that?
Well, it was a lot easier being on the inside than it is being a commissioner, I can tell you that. Currently, the Human Resources Department is well staffed, and the director that is in charge now is very capable. She's brought a lot of onboarding changes and a lot of overall changes to contracts, and I think it's moving in the right direction.
Okay. Are you guys at staff? I don't know if you have an authorized staff number or whatever. Do you
230?
function at just 230 your number, or
It's about 250.
250? And are you running below or above that?
Right now, it's on target as what it has been for some time. It's not as easy to keep people as it used to be. But the last contracts, in my opinion, were employee friendly, shall we say. And I think we'll see a reduction in the turnover rate. And presently, watching our P's and Q's at the level that we're staffed at, I believe there'll be some sort of hiring. I don't want to say freeze, but backing off.
And I had another reasonably good question, I thought, but I just slipped away. So it
He will
escaped
come
me.
back at 3 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
and I'll come back. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, if you remember, let us know, Councilor Allen. Very well, thank you. All right, so next up in the plate on the ballot box is gonna be Mr. Don Rodriguez. And so Josh, what are we looking for then?
A reappointment for July 1st of 2025 with an expiration of June 30th of 2026.
Okay.
And that's 1 year.
Yes,
So at that point, if we did it the way you're suggesting, there'd be 1 more year for Dan, 2 more years for Matt, and 3 more years for Vanessa.
correct. Commissioner Rodriguez would be up for reappointment next year.
Well, Judge, I think you say that each term is 3 years.
Each term is 3 years, except they have to be staggered with expiration dates. So we're gonna so you don't have to retroactively reappoint them. You can appoint them all come July 1 of this year, but then their expiration date of their terms would have to be staggered. And that will allow us to accomplish what the statute requires.
But it will seem to me that the easiest out of the 3 is Ms. Otero, which is straightforward, July 1st, 2025 to July of June 30th, 2028.
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Otero will get a full 3-year term because she's expiring in June 30th of this year.
Okay.
The other commissioners expired in previous years, so you're just going to reappoint them so that they're officially reappointed with their expiration dates going back really to the dates that would have expired had they been reappointed retroactively.
I think I'm going to be dreaming tonight about dates to Councilor Allen.
I'll send it over to Gladys in writing and she'll have
Yes.
them.
Yeah, but
Lock, stock, and barrel.
I need to double check with the intrepid city solicitor here.
Sure.
I don't want to kill the push in so many words.
Yes.
Now, Dan, floor is yours, my good sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I'm very grateful to have been able to serve as a commissioner. I'm grateful to serve with these 2 individuals. Both Matt and Vanessa have been excellent commissioners and taking the city's interest at heart. And I'm also grateful that Councilor Allen was able to ask Vanessa all the questions, and I don't have to answer those questions.
That was just the start.
Yeah. So I've been a commissioner since I think 2001 or 2002.
Okay.
And I think that so my term is expiring as expected at this point. I mean, in other words, the term that he's asking to have me be extended to is it's no change in the cycle that had things processed normally. And I think maybe some of the confusion came in when Bill Leonard resigned and we put forward to the city council and the mayor a replacement for Bill. At the same time, we put forward the renewal of my position, and one got on the agenda and the other one didn't. I think it's really as simple as that, just an oversight. But I'm sure somebody in the city has more details. I would like to say before I go on about me, I would like to take the opportunity to publicly recognize Bill Leonard's service. He was an outstanding commissioner. I think that his stature and experience level humbly dwarfed the 3 of us together. And I don't think Matt or Vanessa would disagree with me on that. So, and a great man, and we miss having him. So, so my background is I've been a commissioner for several years now. I'm an engineer by education. I worked at Monsanto for about 20 years, and then the last 20 years I've been self-employed in real estate and construction. I'm a licensed builder and realtor and property manager in the city. I've been living in the city since just before I got married 37 years ago. Raised my 4 kids in the city here. 3 of them have moved back to the city with their families, and also 3 of my 4 grandchildren are here in the city.
Excellent.
Nice.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Councilor Allen, any questions?
You mentioned you're a city resident. I'm pretty sure Matt lives around the corner from me. If you're still there, Matt?
Still here.
Yeah, so he's a city resident. Vanessa, are you a city resident?
You know, Counselor Allen, this is the third time I've come on here and the third time you asked me that question. So I'm gonna invite you over for coffee one day. Just to be clear, yes, I live in the Forest Park area of Springfield.
Great, thank you.
In fact, Councilor Allen, she only lives in the city, but she's my neighbor, so.
Oh, she is,
I
okay.
can attest she lives in the city.
Okay, that's great, that's great. Yeah, we get a lot of fire on the residency. There's been many people in favor of it, but there's been a little bit more hiring challenges for us as a result of it. We're still in it, we still have it. There's a residency control commission. I'm not on it. Mike Fenton is on it. Somebody from the fire department, Drew Pamonte, and a few other people reviewing residency in the situations with special situations. So that's good. That just takes that off the table in case it was an issue. Yeah, Dan, did you say you were on since 2001?
Yeah.
So you're going to be the Bill Leonard.
Oh, well, maybe as far as the calendar goes, but not knowledge wise for sure.
And the interesting thing for me with you guys, and believe me, I experienced the same sort of thing, which is wanting to continue to do something that is a challenging thing to do. I mean, water is just a bigger issue nationally now. Obviously, the HA5 thing has been a problem for us. The consistency of going up in rates, whatever it turns out to be, 6.5 to 8.5. What makes you want to continue to do this? It's got to be, it can't be easy.
You know, I think Vanessa mentioned earlier that civic involvement is important to her, and it's important to me. What's interesting about this role is it taps into some of my my interests, you know, being an engineer at heart. And also to your point about residency, the enabling law requires us to be members of residents of Springfield in order to be on the Water and Sewer Commission. And the way we take care of that by not paying each other, so we have no problem getting people here because there's no pay involved. But
Important to know. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
You know, I think when I first got involved, I was overwhelmed, and the longer I'm involved, the more I realize that there's a real benefit by having somebody be involved for a while. So I continue to serve. I enjoy it. It's a good group of people. If I did not like working with, you know, the staff there, Josh, or the other commissioners, I probably wouldn't put up with it. But I see no reason not to. I find it interesting, and then being a steward over it, it's been fun, and I will continue to serve at the pleasure of the mayor and you folks over at the city council for as long as you want me to, or until my wife says enough.
Thank you.
If I just want to say, Commissioner Rodriguez, put it on the record. First of all, thank you to all three for your service, and I was not aware that this is a non-compensated position, and you guys do a lot. So let me start by saying that. Also, by echoing that, if it was up to me, every single board and commission member of any commission or board through the city will have at least some sort of stipend, at least to pay for gas and a cup of coffee. So I know you guys are not doing it for that. You do it because of the love of the city, let's be honest. We just want to put that on the record, and I hope someday the administration does move forward with ensuring that everybody gets at least some stipend, because right now some people get a stipend, others don't, and I think that's fundamentally unfair. Putting that on the record. So I do have some questions, if I may. So, Judge, I know you're probably going to try to chime in, but I would like to hear specifically from the commissioners. So, contracts. I believe that we serve most of the Hampton County, correct? The water supplies. Agawam with Springfield, Chicopee, they get their water from us, right?
Well, Agawam gets a little bit, Wilbraham, I'm sorry, Ludlow and Long Meadow and get water from us, not Chicopee. We do have, emergency connections in the event that there's some crisis, we can slide water back and forth to to help different cities. And a few residents in Westfield get water from us.
US. So, okay. So you might be, you guys might, be aware that I am also, the chairman of the pilot committee. And what we're looking at is the way to increase revenues to the city. Putting things into context, we've been told by the mayor that our budget is going to be shy of $1 billion, with a gap of about $24 million, in which Kathy and her team are going to have to figure out how to close that gap. I know you guys, your budgets are separate. I realize that. But a couple of quick questions. You guys are technically, what's your actual structure? Is it a nonprofit, semi-quasi? What's your actual structure for the water and sewer department?
You want me to answer that, or you want Commissioner?
Yeah.
I think Mr. Rodriguez had the hand up first. Mr. Rodriguez.
All right, so I'll take a shot at that. And I know that if Norm Guz were here, he would actually be more accurate. But there's an enabling law in the Mass General State Law, Chapter 40N, that created the Water and Sewer Commission specifically for us and Boston. I think those are the two commissions that have been created. The commission runs separately from the city. The only thing, the city has the right to appoint the commissioners who will manage the commission. And we are restricted by, it's a pretty lengthy law. Chapter 40N has, I'll pull it up right here. Hang on a second. Oh, gosh.
What chapter did you say, Commissioner?
This is Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40N. Okay, and as in Nancy, 40 is the number 40. It's the Model Water and Sewer Commission, Chapter 40N. It defines the function and the authority, the powers that we have, our limitations, and so on and so forth. Let's see, do they call us a public or a private entity?
I thought the term used was
Independent public instrument. Yes, an independent public entity. I'm sorry, Vanessa, go ahead.
I thought the term was quasi governmental.
Yeah.
Or public.
It says right here, I'm going to read it. The commission is hereby constituted an independent public instrumentally and the exercise by the commission of its powers conferred by this chapter shall be deemed and held to be the performance of an essential public function. So it's quasi, as Vanessa was saying.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Josh, is there something you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the commissioner read it right from the legislation. So we're an independent public agency.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I like to do myself, I like to think outside of the box. Or I try to think outside of the box. Some great ideas sometimes come out thinking outside of the box. So I'm going to ask you some outside of the box questions here, okay? So, and I'm sure you guys have your limitations, you guys have your challenges. Before I ask you my question, what's your actual budget right now?
Roughly about 110 million, I think.
110 million, okay. That's kind of a big budget, huh? $110 million, okay. Now, I guess how would you guys, I would like to hear your thoughts about the city always has difficulties with plowing. That's serious talking to me, I'm sorry. The city always has difficulty with plowing. And so, and I know you guys do your own plowing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but that will be including the city, your properties in the city. Okay. Do you see a scenario in which you guys could help the city with plowing once you're done with your stuff?
No, Counselor, all due respect,
Josh, I know you want, I'm asking the commissioners, if you don't mind, please. I would like to-
We have looked at that in the past,
Yeah.
Counselor, and the legislation really is strict against that. It's really prescriptive in what we can and cannot do to keep it separated from the city budgets. Now, there was one time when there was a massive snowstorm in the last 20 years where we provided some emergency support. But that was it. I think Joe Superno was still alive, and it was a one-time event because it was like any kind of an emergency. We all jump in if there's an emergency.
Even if we compensate you guys for your service?
Yeah, no, we're not really structured or allowed to do that by statute, by legislation.
Okay.
Our function is to provide water and sewer
Right.
services. So we're kind of precluded from doing other things to make revenue, if you will. Like we could,
Right.
we won't go out and sell hats. No, we can't do that.
I understand. With that being said, you're talking about providing service, and you guys mentioned that we provide service to Agawam, Ludlow, small amount of Westfield and Long Meadow. Do we have contract with those towns? And
Yes,
are they adjusted to inflation for every year? And are they
we
paid
have
on time?
we have municipal contracts. Some of those entities actually have helped invest in the initial capital infusion for the water plant,
Yeah,
the sewer plant, not the water plant, the sewer plant. So we have formulas that'll define their rates as a function of their investment in the beginning and the annual operating water and sewer costs. So as our costs go up, the charges go up to the
I
to the
understand.
municipalities as well.
Is there language in there to adjust them every year for inflation?
So we have usually they're 5-year contracts. And so they're adjusted based on the contract. And then what happens within that 5-year period, their rates will go up based on actual expenses. So if our expenses went up 5%, their rates go up 5%.
Within those 5 years?
Yeah. Or 10% or whatever, whatever our increase is what they get.
So my main point is we're not losing money with these contracts.
No,
We're not hitting the red line, basically.
we're not losing money with the contracts. Actually, by selling water to our host other communities, we're taking our fixed cost and defraying it over more units.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Rodriguez. Commissioner Otero, Commissioner Donovan, any thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I guess I appreciate where the question is coming from and the idea of being innovative in helping the city in any way that we can. We do, in that we often forego fees for the city and do other types of adjustments on payments for the city. So we also do that. I think one of the biggest things that we provide the city with, and again, kudos to the staff at the commission for their hard work, is creating a trajectory for young men and women to join the ranks of the Water and Sewer Commission, a career. And Matthew Donnellan is my fellow commissioners, proof to that can lead to an entire life of hard work, but also good paying jobs. And so we are working really hard to ensure that the youth around us, high school and beyond, are thinking about the water and sewer as a viable career for them, a career that helps you to buy a home, helps you to put your kids through college, helps you to go on vacation 2 or 3 times a year. It's a place where people can really start in an entry-level position and really do well. Josh is a testament to that.
All right, thank you. I do have two more questions for all three of you. Mr. Allen, do you have any questions to follow up?
You're on the roll. Go ahead.
Okay.
I might at the end, but keep going.
Thank you. Commissioner Donald, anything you want to contribute to the question?
Well, the pipeline program is probably something that's relatively new for the commission, and it takes the high school students in as interns during the summer. And to point something out, which people see our employees in the street fixing water pipes, doing flushing, et cetera, et cetera. They also point out that this program, we have an IT unit, we have a financial department, we have customer service. So there's different avenues that you could take within the commission if you were to be hired.
All right, thank you. I like the emphasis, all three of you, how encouraging people to make a career and stay local. That's music to my ears. People stay here, they buy a house, pay taxes, spend money. They have the multiplying effect. I like it when local money has a multiplying effect on the economy. So excellent. So my next question for all three of you, I was asked by a resident to ask you this question. Abatements, specifically, and this is an education for me too. If you have a water leak of some pipes leaking in your house, you could ask for an abatement. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me? I believe the constituent told me you only get it once a year. Is that correct? If you have a water or leaking pipes in your house.
Yeah. So if you get a question like that, on our website are the rules and regs, and it's very clear in there. But yeah, if you have a leak, you can request an abatement, and we've given authority to the staff to approve up to a certain amount, and then it comes to us as commissioners to approve, and then a ratepayer can appeal that too to the commission if they feel that there's a justification for their abatement request.
Rodriguez, what's that amount? What's the amount?
It's 500, I think.
Per year?
Yeah. Well, so what happens? Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, that would be if you get an abatement request once, we don't expect you to have another one in certainly that calendar year. And then I'd have to look if there's a restriction thereafter. But one thing for sure is we have something set up to prevent people from, being a habitual claimant, So abatements are for if you have a leak. We also have a program to help people who don't have the funds, a customer assistance program for people who are short on cash, which is separate from the abatement process. The abatement process is you've had a problem. Let's say you had a problem, your toilet was leaking and you didn't know about it. And then you get this big bill. So you present that to us, and based on the facts, if we can, if it's a case that can be proven one way or another, then an abatement can be applied for and ultimately approved. There are times that we'll get, we refuse abatements too, because, well, you've dealt, there are, 150,000 people in the city of Springfield. I'm sure there's at least one dishonest one that'll try to get slipped by.
Unfortunately, yeah. So
So
let me ask you the question, go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So let me ask you the question of the constituent, since we are the voice and the ears. They want me to ask you, and I think you want to answer a little bit, why only one abatement per year for leaking pipes?
Well,
What's the succinct question they wanted me to ask you? Like, why can they only get one abatement for a leaking pipe a year?
well, part of the thing is that when you do the when you do file an abatement, the assumption is there's been a repair and you've gone through and surveyed your piping and you don't have any additional leaks, you know? Because you don't get an abatement if you haven't done a repair. We're not going to abate a continued leak.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Commissioner Otero, any follow?
Yeah, I wanted to add that the commission has also actually been really proactive with alerting residents when their usage spikes. And we also implemented a meter program to change meters to ensure that the usage spikes isn't related to meters. And I think they're smart meters. And so we are not only offer the service, not only offer the assistance to customer assistance programs similar to fuel assistance, but we also pay attention to spikes in water usage, and we'll send somebody out to take a look. And many times, we have found the problem before the homeowner does.
Yeah.
Thank you, Otero.
Can I just add to that quickly?
Sure.
Over the years, we've seen a significant drop in the number of abatement requests because of the program that we have in place that monitors and forewarns people when their usage starts to seem a little high, as opposed to having a situation where someone comes in and says, I got a $5,000 water bill. They come in and say, well, I have an extra $100 on my water bill. So it's easy to clean that up.
I think I will faint if I ever get a water bill that high. Commissioner Donovan, do you have any follow-up, if any?
No, only that the program is a watchdog for your water usage is as Commissioner Rodriguez pointed out, is most effective.
Yeah, okay, excellent. All right, so my last question, before I ask it, too many commissioners, Councilor Allen, any follow-up questions on this particular subject before I ask my last question?
You have one more question
Yeah, you want to go at the end?
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead, then I ask my last question at the end.
You'll ask
I don't mind, right.
So, right now you've got the operational budget that you always have, and you've also got the project budget. I assume they're separate, maybe commingled at some point. You're about to go through your budget process. Is there a way that we could get regular updates on both budgets? I say regular updates, maybe quarterly. I don't know if they need to be monthly, but I'm concerned that at some point, most projects usually go over budget. That's a universal statement about projects in the world. And I guess I'm wondering if the way that would happen, if the project budget went over budget, how would that get fixed? Would it affect rates, or would it be fixed in another way? So that's a kind of a separate question, and maybe I don't know if you're prepared to answer that right here, but the basic question is, how do we stay in touch with your budget as it expands, or as it goes through the year, so that we know where it is and how it might impact because we got our own tax process, right? We're starting our budget, and eventually at the end of the year, that may result in tax increases, et cetera. So, and I'm chair of finance, so I'm kind of plugged into that. Is there a way we could get a regular update from you on the two different budgets as they go through the year?
I don't have a problem with that. I think that would be, I would want to hear from my fellow commissioners about asking the administration to do that, but I don't have a problem with an update. I think one thing to keep in mind about our budget, which is probably similar to the city budget in this way, is that there are a lot of levers in this budget, and pulling one or pushing one affects some other side. And so things like projects going over budget and projects going under budget and expenses on one line item being less than expected or more than expected, all of those things are, you know, balanced out, and not throughout the year. We keep an eye on it, but then we really take a look at it during this budget season. Our projects are bonded, right? So we borrowed for our projects, and so the more we budget, the more debt we have and debt service that we have to, and that changes from year to year, right? So it's not just one thing, and it's not just the project going over budget or under budget that really affects what we do. You know, there is, you know, what I call a super spreadsheet, that when you plug one number into one of the line items, everything changes, type of thing. It's the kind of due diligence that the administration has been doing for a while, and has made this process not easy, but easier, for at least for me, to understand and to really follow and get a good grasp of. If that's something that the council, you in particular, Councilor Allen, are interested in learning about, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not necessarily interested in learning about your spreadsheet other than how it happens, but it sounds great. Well, let me tell you, you know, one of my favorite employees in the city over the years was Pat Burns, and now he's on your team. And I haven't talked with him since he's been there, but we had a good friendship working together here, and he would do, as comptroller, he would do a budget report for us. On regular meetings, one regular meeting a month, we'd have the treasurer's report or comptroller's report. And he would simply show the year's budget, you know, spread out, and, you know, depending on what month of the year we're in, we'd say what are we in, March now?
Yeah.
So the one at the end of March would say we're 75% of the way through the year. Our fiscal year is 75% over. And Pat would simply it would show the percentage we had spent in each of the different product lines. Maybe it was 72%, maybe it was 68%, maybe it was 79%. And
Yeah, we do that every month too. You just have
that
to.
kind of thing. Could we get that? You know,
Yeah,
Okay.
if you
We-
join our meetings every month, you would hear the same exact thing.
Correct. The same
There's-
report is given.
There's two
each month.
mechanisms for you, Counselor, that are in place already. At any point, you're welcome to attend the meeting, but also the notes, which include these things, are posted to our website. So on our website, you will see the exact thing that you're talking about every month. That
okay.
has the year-to-date performance versus budget. And then, you know, as the year goes on, we also have a forecast line too, which is important, so that we know that, you know, we can forecast that we're on or ahead or behind budget, and so on and so forth. And also, and I kind of give credit to this to Vanessa, because she asked for it, and not that she's done the work, our engineering staff has done the work. We do these quarterly updates on the projects, which I think the presentation is really a nice presentation, and it's because Vanessa kept encouraging us to do a better job of communicating it in a way that could be consumed by the general public. And then there's a third forum that happens right now, and that's where we do send staff out to the local community, you know, the East Forest Park, 16 acres, you know, groups there to do presentations. But every month, the meetings are held. They can be attended virtually, and every month it gets posted. The notes get posted to the website, which includes everything you're asking for. We could certainly email them to you as well if you wanted them in your email box.
Well, that's great. That's a great answer. When are your board meetings?
Once a month, we set the date. There's not any set date. It's
That date, okay. Now, I'm well familiar with the Civic Association things. I got to know Jamie and, is it Megan or Molly or somebody who works with her? Is it Molly? Katie. Molly is in the mayor's office. Katie's in the water and sewer. They're sisters. Yeah, I mean, I go to all my three civic associations that are in my ward are East Forest Park, Outer Belt, and 16 Acres. So it's a rare month that I don't make all three of them. And 36 meetings a year roughly. And so I'm there when they present. In fact, I think they're coming to one of them soon. I'm not sure which one. So I'm familiar with that. That works well. I like the invitation to the board and the information on where that is available. So that's good. That's great. That's my main question. If we can resolve that, how we get regular updates on things. It sounds like we're halfway there. So I'm all set. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you. I think the Council Allen, I think it's a great idea. I don't know what the regular quarterly update I'm going to say for now. What will look like is something that I can reach out later on or jointly to the commission to figure out what that will look like. Because I think it will be a benefit to all of us to sort of have a better understanding and so that we can answer constituents when they ask questions. Because they do have questions. And so you guys definitely are an integral part of the city. And so that's something that I look forward to follow up to see how we can figure that out. So my last question for the all three commissioners, before I ask the question, let me say that I realize this question might be a little bit controversial, a little bit of a back and forth. I'm going to ask all three of you about PLAs. Before I ask you about PLAs, also let me tell you for full disclosure, I myself, I'm a Teamster. I am a proud labor person. I stand no financial gain of any way, shape, or form with your decision making because I just don't sit on the board. And so is something that I was asked to ask you guys. And then I want to ask you personally. So I would like to hear each one of you, your quick thoughts. We don't have to go into too much detail, but about your thoughts about PLAs. For those at home watching, there's a private labor agreements, public labor agreements with labor.
Project labor.
Project labor agreements. Thank you, Councilor Allen. Project labor agreements. I would like to hear your thoughts about that, and specifically, I'm going to be asking you, all three of you, about the West Parish situation, which we all know, let's not be naive, it was controversial. I believe it was $325 million, and we need to have a conversation about that. I ask all of you to just tell me what you think. I might disagree with some of you, but just tell me what's on your mind. Commissioner Otero, being a gentleman.
I can start, since I was probably the most vocal commissioner for a PLA. The PLA obviously to me was about the residents of Springfield. I know that there was talk that it was going to increase the cost and this and that, and I understood all of that. But Springfield has a 30% poverty rate, and we need to get people into jobs. We need to, all of poverty, I think, in my opinion, is the underlying root cause of most of our problems here in Springfield, whether it's crime, lack of education, and whatever else you want to tack on. And I thought it was an opportunity to employ and engage younger and older, but certainly younger. I'm not even going to gender this. I'm going to say human beings, to engage in meaningful work that would result in, a project that Springfield absolutely needs and probably won't see for another, I don't know how many years. And so I am. It's not a secret. There were articles in the paper. I wrote for the paper stating that I was for it. I'm pro labor, and if should it ever come up again, I would vote for it again.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner Otero, for your short and precise answer. Commissioner Rodriguez, you want to go next?
Sure. I think PLAs have their place. I have worked with unions in my prior career. My I was the one that voted against it from the beginning and was consistent. My issue was not the PLA. It was a major project, and we're looking to make a change a month before we needed to go out to bid. Was, in my mind, a change at a crucial time that I couldn't assess the value or impact when I asked the staff, the organization, and the engineers and the folks doing the project for us, what impact would be there, you know, and whether or not we were accomplishing what the PLA was looking to give us. We were told that the conversation we had allowed us to change some of the terms of our contracts to ensure that everything that PLA was looking to get as far as civic involvement, we were able to get with our non-PLA agreements. And so in the interest of keeping things on track and not starting things all over again because of the timing, I voted against it, only more so than, I was like, we're at the bottom of the ninth inning. It's not time to change tack. So that's why I voted against it. And because every time we talked about it, it was like we were up against the gun. We need a decision now, right now, right now. Well, if it's going to be right now, then it's going to be no rather than change, because you can't on a whim. I felt I couldn't in an instant make a major change without seeing some real benefits that I was told and led to believe that we have the benefits in our contracts. So in general, do I have an issue with labor? No. I mean, I have negotiated with the unions in the past. Many times I've had a good working relationship. I don't, in my working for myself, deal with unions anymore, but there are plenty of folks you could talk to that I worked with in the unions, and my Monsanto Solution days, who I'm sure could corroborate my statements that I don't have an issue with labor.
Commissioner Rodriguez, some quick follow-up. You say that PLAs have a place. Can you elaborate on that? When do you see a PLA to be appropriate with relationship to local labor?
It should be part of the thought process from the beginning, so it can be evaluated as the project goes along, as any other aspect of a project, so I
Okay. And so, and I understand I can relate Commissioner Rodriguez of working under the gun, because I personally don't like that. I don't like it when they say you got to do this now. I agree with you. I have issues with that. So I can respect that, Commissioner Rodriguez, but just kind of curious, what some of the changes that were concerning to you that could have been detrimental if you were under the gun?
Well, according to the engineering firm that did the analysis, there was a cost increase, an anticipated cost increase by going forward with the PLA. And there wasn't time to flush that out one way or another, so I have to take the expert's opinion on that. I mean, I could talk to a lot of different people, and in the end, we're paying somebody for their expert opinion, and so I have to take that expert opinion first.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Commissioner Donovan, your thoughts, please?
Yes, Counselor. I come from a union household as well. My father was a pipe fitter and a steam fitter at the old Uniroyal plant in Chicopee. So, like Commissioner Otero, I was pro-labor, and that's the reason I voted for the PLA. As far as deadlines and being under the gun, it always seems that way. It's how you perceive it. It always seems that we're under the gun. Deadlines have to be met and everything, but somehow we seem to break through it.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner O'Donnell. Let me just to start wrapping up. First of all, I want to say thank to all of you, because your position is extremely important. You guys are dealing with one of the elements of life: water. The water, fire, air, earth. And so your appointment is extremely important. Commissioner Otero, this went to court. Do you know how much we ended up spending in the court system on this law? I think it was a lawsuit that came out of this vote.
I don't know how much we spent in court. I'm sorry.
Josh, can you tell us how much you guys spent in court?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but
Can you get a number for me, please?
sure, it was not a substantial amount.
Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Just want to know before I vote how much we spent.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get it for you right now, but I can get it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, sometime next week. County Commissioner, Councilor Ali, any thoughts, follow up on this question?
No, that was a good question. The PLA, I thought you might ask, so I had it on my list, but I didn't ask. It was an interesting time to follow what was happening.
Mhm.
Appreciate your answers to it. And look forward to what Josh says about the budget. But I don't have any other questions for now.
All right, with that being said, so this is gonna go up for appointment consideration April 7th. Given, again, I restate, the commission, Madam Clerk is not here. Oh, by the way, Josh, on your end of the equation, who keeps track of these appointments?
We officially, it's supposed to be the city of Springfield.
Okay,
So we keep track ourselves as well, just to
Right.
make sure. And so we'll send reminders as necessary. And I think
understand.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
I understand. And so again, I'm gonna say again, probably for the third or fourth time, I'm pretty annoyed with this. Some people could say, well, it's not a big deal, we'll just go back and do it retroactively. I am annoyed with this little hiccup here, with this hiccup period. But we're gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna talk to the Madam Clerk. And so it just makes me wonder how many other board members throughout the city are out of turn with their appointment. Which is a big deal because this potentially, who knows, could open the city to liability. So given the fact that we have this confusion or this issue with the date, so Council Allen, what I want to do, I want to suggest each one to go up to the council so that we're clear who's who and what the term is that is being proposed. I will follow with the solicitor on my end to make sure that there's no issues. You follow me?
No.
So I would like to consider each one, Commissioner Otero, Commissioner Dandelion, and Commissioner Rodriguez, vote on each one to bring it up to the council. So we can be specific on the days that you're suggesting, so there's no confusion.
Vote in this committee,
Yeah, to send that, because we have to vote for consideration.
one at a time
One at a
rather
time.
than three.
Correct, that's a pack, yeah. So, you make a motion to, I open a motion for Commissioner Otero to be reappointed to the Water and Sewer Commission for a term, and Josh, correct me on this, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028, pending review of the solicitor. Is that the right date, Josh?
Correct.
Yeah,
Do you make such motion?
I make that motion.
I second it. I say aye, you say?
Aye.
Okay, good. Commissioner Otero, we're gonna be moving you up to the council. The next one is gonna be Mr. Matthew Donnellan. I will entertain the motion to suggest to the city council body the reappointment of Matthew Donnellan from July 1st, 2025 to July 30th of 2027. Is that correct, Josh?
July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027.
Correct. A pending review of the solicitor to ensure that it's appropriate. Do you make a motion?
Yeah, I will in just a second, yeah. So Vanessa, I got it right. So Matt is 2027, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I make that motion.
Yeah,
for
I
Mr.
second
Donovan.
that. I vote aye and you vote.
I vote aye.
Okay. Last but not least, we have Mr. Daniel Rodriguez. Do I have a motion to reappoint Commissioner Rodriguez um, for a term of July 1st, 2020? Help me out here, Josh.
You're gonna reappoint Commissioner Rodriguez for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
June 30th, 2026. Again, pending review of the city's solicitor for approval, making sure there's no issues.
I make that motion.
You make the motion, I second the motion, I vote aye. Excuse me, before we vote,
Aye.
yeah, before I vote, my apologies, I want to make a comment. Commissioner Rodriguez, before I vote, my good sir, first, let me thank you for your service. I can tell you definitely know what you're doing. And I thank you. And I like your spirit, my good sir. I can tell being a meeting with you is fun. I can respect your decision. I am glad that I had this opportunity to speak to you. As I said before, pro-labor. I was not happy with this whole debacle that happened, particularly with the West Parish. But I'm not sitting in your seat. That's a decision for you to make, and I totally respect that, and I want you to know that. You know, I'm pro-labor, and to be honest with you, by my principles, I should vote no. However, I like to be fair. If I vote no, it's gonna kill your appointment. And I want the other councilors to weigh in. I'm just telling you what's on my mind, so there's no surprise. Just to be fair, with you. I disagree with you on the PLAs. But I also want you to know, look at you straight in the eyes, like I always do, that I respect your position. If it was up to me, not even a dollhouse would be built without labor here in the city of Springfield. And so with that being said, I want you to know that I wholeheartedly respect your position, your work. You've been doing this since 2001, 2002. Obviously, you do it without pay and for the love of the city. And it's really, I'm really so amazed, and I really do thank you for that. So I like to be clear, transparent, Commissioner Rodriguez. So I am not going to block your nomination. I will send it to the council. But right now I'm inclining to vote no once we get to the council, unless somehow my mind is changed. I will give you the opportunity before I vote to make it official, to say a few words if you wish, or if you don't have to.
You mean right now or later?
Yeah, if you want, I will give you the opportunity to say, it's entirely up to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate your perspective as well. And, you know, I think that we both have in common that we try to do what's right for the city and keep things moving forward and make the best decisions we can based on the information we have in hand at the time. So I certainly understand where you're coming from, and yeah, no, I look forward to continuing to serve if it's the will of the mayor and the council.
Absolutely. And I like to look at people in the eyes. That's why I like to be straightforward. So I felt very important to tell you that myself. So Councilor, we have a motion properly second. You voted aye for Councilor Rodriguez?
We already did that, right? I mean,
Yeah, you voted yes. You haven't
yeah,
voted
we
yet.
did all three, I thought.
No, I haven't voted yet. So I vote yes too as well. So with that, all three councilors are going to be recommended to the city council. That's going to be on April 7th at 7 o'clock. And that's pretty much all that I have.
That's a week from tonight.
That's a week from tonight. It's going to be Monday. You guys could be in person or remotely. It's entirely up to you. And I will leave you guys with any thoughts, questions, suggestions, anything you want us to consider. No? No final words? Excellent.
I would say it is up to you, but it never hurts to be in person.
Perfect.
We have a lot of meetings where we have a lot of people remote, and
What
They're never-
time does it start?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay.
7 o'clock.
I'm sorry?
The meeting starts at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it starts at 7, yeah.
Yep, yep, okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. God bless you, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Meeting is adjourned at 5:02. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your
God bless.
time, appreciate it.
Bye.